book lovers, it is G-Swizz here, and better late than never, this is my Babe haul. If you're wondering if Babe happened a while ago at this point, yeah, it actually did. As I'm filming this video, I'm actually filming this in July. It might go up in August or September. I really don't know these days because my book hauls tend to go up pretty late, considering that I plan content like topical videos and other kinds of videos that are relevant to the part of the year that they're being posted in, and with hauls, they can just be posted at any time. I am not only posting this haul late, no, I'm filming it late. As I'm filming this, it has been over a month since Babe. If you guys don't know what Babe stands for, if you've never heard of Babe, essentially Babe stands for the Ball Gown and Books event. This event is ran by two Australian romance authors, one being Tate James and the other one being Jame and Eve. Prior to hearing about this event, I had only read from Jame and Eve, but as the event crept closer, I read some books by Tate James as well. And I am seriously so honored that I got to attend this event. If the event was a little bit spaced out from Rare 2023, maybe I would have logged the experience. That all being said, I had less friends attend Babe, even though I had more authors that I had read from previously coming to Babe. My initial goal for 2023 was to only attend Babe, but when I received a work bonus, I was able to fly out to Melbourne and go to Rare as well. And I don't regret my vlogging experience of Rare. In some way, I wish I did it for Babe, but at the very same time, I felt some creative burnout. Some of you guys probably have not noticed that I do mask it pretty well because I do plan my content very well. Therefore, I found it really hard to vlog anything, and I found it really hard to bring myself to haul these books even though I'm really excited about them. So I am finally going to do that here. I'm finally going to haul these books, and I'm finally going to talk to you guys about the experiences I've had with these authors. I mean, I've shared a few over the videos that I've posted within the last month or two. Like every once in a while, I'll bring an author experience up in a wrap-up video or in some sort of check-in video, in a video where I talk about one of their books. I mean, I've talked about my KF Brain experience a few times already, and that was probably one of the most exciting experiences I had from this event. But yeah, I will go through them, and I'll go through the books that I accumulated at the event or accumulated in the lead up to the event that I didn't haul previously. I guess without further ado, let's finally get straight into my Babe 2023 haul. The first author I've got to mention that I met at Babe was Penelope Douglas. It was a huge deal to almost everyone who was attending that Penelope Douglas was attending. I ended up purchasing this book from Target in the lead up to the event. The same day that I purchased it, I ended up devouring this book, and I pretty much fell in love with it. Even though it has problematic themes, even though it's technically a bully romance, I was so addicted to Punk 57. I just knew that I needed to read more by Penelope Douglas, so I picked this one up in the hopes that I would meet her, and I did. I got it signed and personalized. But then soon after reading Punk 57, I had to pick Birthday Girl up, and I'm not gonna lie, I do kind of regret purchasing some of Penelope Douglas's indie pubbed books, and the reason why is because some of her backlists have been acquired by a publisher, and I'm actually not sure which publisher picked her books up. I'm guessing it might be Pietkiss, considering that they picked Punk 57 up and they have Fall Boys. Birthday Girl is going to be picked up by a publisher apparently. I have the indie pub version, and it doesn't match the edition I have of Punk 57 in height. However, I am still happy that I have this before it goes out of print regardless. I don't know whether or not they're gonna keep the same cover. I do know that with the Devil's Night series and with Tri-6 Venom, they are going to change the covers for those books, but when it comes to Birthday Girl, I think they might keep the same cover. I don't mind this cover. I think this cover is okay. I got this signed. I still haven't read it. My goal was to read it in the lead up to Babe, and now I'm hearing mixed reviews. I remember standing in Sarah Kate's line, and Sarah Kate we'll get to later, but I remember standing in Sarah Kate's line, hearing a couple of girls talk about Birthday Girl and how they really loved Praise and they wanted a book like Praise, and people kept on saying that you should read Birthday Girl next, and they didn't like Birthday Girl as much. I don't know how I feel about that. So I'm gonna manage my expectations going into Birthday Girl. I hope I find some enjoyment in it. And speaking of the Devil's Night series, I have the Devil's Night series in the indie paperbacks. I had no idea going into the event that her books were going to be picked up by a publisher, so I have the indie published editions of the Devil's Night series, and I might purchase the traditionally published editions depending on their covers. I initially avoided purchasing the series because I didn't like the covers that much. Like, I don't like the corrupt cover that much. However, I don't mind the cover of Hideaway. I think that this one is okay, and I also kind of like the cover of Kill Switch. I like the detail on the gate. Nightfall, I guess it's just okay. Yep. There we go. So actually, I only took Corrupt and Hideaway to the event. I believe that these ones are signed and personalized. No, actually, jokes. I think I only took Corrupt to the event. Let's see. Yeah, I took Corrupt to the event. However, what I decided to do was get these clear book plates. I'm not too sure if you can see the shine. And get Penelope Douglas to sign a few of those as well. Oh my goodness, these books are so heavy. So the other 3 books in the series have the signed book plate on them. And I kind of like that they're clear as well, because if they were white, then it would disrupt with the printed image in the background. But yes, meeting Penelope Douglas was very sweet. She was very nice. And she also had Jolly Ranchers at her table. And from books that I've read previously, like contemporary romances and contemporary books in general, I had always heard about Jolly Ranchers, but I never knew what they were or what they tasted like. And I am so happy that her and her assistant, they were pretty much raving to me about Jolly Ranchers and that I needed to take every flavor on the table, so that's what I did. And I love Jolly Ranchers. I honestly cannot decide which one is my favorite. They say that the watermelon flavor is the best, and I do like the watermelon flavor, but I also really like the blue raspberry flavor and the green apple flavor. Yeah, it's really difficult for me to decide which one, and I am devastated that we don't have those in the confectionery aisle in Australia. However, it's probably for the best, because I need to avoid sugar where I can, because I cannot afford to get sick more than I have been already this winter. And at Babe 2023, I also met Sarah Kate. Sarah Kate is also the author of the Salacious Players Club. I'm collecting that book series in their traditionally published editions. I did get Praise signed, and she personalized it, and she wrote "Good Girl" in it. So she gave me a little bit of a praise. But I have a funny story with this series. So I actually purchased these 2 books from Amazon prior to the event. And as I was wheeling through the event, my copy of 4 dropped out of my cart. And I was devastated. I was looking everywhere for it, and I could not find it. And then I finally went into the Sarah Kate line, and I decided I was going to purchase this edition of 4. As I was purchasing it and as I was tapping my card, I was telling the person at the stand, I'm actually purchasing this because I accidentally lost my copy of 4. It dropped out of my cart. And then they mentioned that H.D. Carlton's partner, Victor, saw the copy of 4 on the ground, picked it up, and then handed it over to Sarah Kate's assistant and said, someone dropped this. If you are able to identify the person, then please give it back to them. And oh my goodness, I cannot believe that out of all people, it was H.G. Carlton's partner who found the book and gave it to Sarah Kate's assistant to give back. Because I had already made the payment for 4, she said that I could take another book off of the table. So the other books that I purchased from the event from Sarah Kate were Illicit, which is a short story collection. This is actually a convention exclusive. I had no idea about that prior to the event. In fact, I was actually looking everywhere on Amazon for this because I noticed that there wasn't an ISBN on the back. I was very curious about it. And then later I noticed that in some bookish Facebook groups that I am in, that this is a signing exclusive. And this book contains a bunch of short stories that Sarah Kate has written previously. A lot of them are available on Kindle Unlimited, but this is just a beautiful foiled bind up, and I appreciate that. And I also purchased The Wild Boys. This is a bind up of Gravity and Freefall, and I've heard good things about this series as well, so I cannot wait to pick this series up. And I believe this was also a convention exclusive, but I could be wrong. I had a gold Sharpie signature there, I had personalization, and then here in Illicit it says, Grace, thanks for coming. And actually, funnily enough, I had no clue that Sarah Kate's co-author for the series was also attending Babe, so I got both their signatures in this book series as well, which was really cool. It was very lovely to meet Sarah Kate. I think I had one of the best experiences meeting her because I pretty much told her how much praise meant to me, and then she thanked me and told me that my words were very sweet and some of the nicest praise she's heard about praise. Haha, see what I did there? And the next author I met at Babe 2023 was Beck McMaster. Beck McMaster was also attending Rare. I have heard good things about the series. Like almost every single time Fairy Loot recommend Romantsy series, I am always seeing this book series right here in their recommendations. And I know that they can't do special editions for the series because it's an indie pub series, but who knows, maybe one day Fairy Loot might make it happen. I believe that this series is called the Dark Court Rising series. series? Yes, it is, obviously, because it's on the cover. And I think the first time I've seen this book series recommended, like anywhere, was through Fairy Loot recommending it. But I started to see it being recommended in different places as well. So I decided that I wanted to pre-order these books. Beck McMaster was doing some sort of convention special where you only had to pay $60 for this entire set, and that is definitely better than recommended retail price because I'm always seeing these books for $25 each on Amazon. And since Babe 2023, I've not yet read this series, but I definitely want to. I want to prioritize this series because I've heard great things. And if I'm seeing Fairy Loot or the Fairy Loot team constantly recommend the series, then I know that I've got to give it a try. So I eventually want to give this series a try, and hopefully I like Beck McMaster's Dark Court Rising series as much as a lot of Romantsy lovers do, and hopefully I can read more from her in the future. And speaking of authors I have not yet read from that I really want to, that I keep on getting recommended, is Catherine Moon, and I have her famous Monster Why Choose series right here, at least the first two books in the series. The first book being A Lady of Rooksgrove Manor, and the second book being The Company of Fiends. This is the Tempting Monsters series. I believe it's gonna be a trilogy. There's also a novella, and Catherine was trying to sell that novella to me, and I was like, oh, I don't know. So I just told her that I would stick to this purchase first. She was lovely. I was kind of clear with her when I was at the table picking her books up. I didn't pre-order anything. I was like, oh, I've heard great things about this book series. I think I should give it a go. And so I decided to purchase these two books. I've just heard really good things. I've heard that the series is steamy, but I've heard that the story is great, and I'm a huge fan of like Beauty and the Beast, so I'm hoping that it has like similar vibes. And I have a message in here, and it says, Grace, monsters make the best book boyfriends. And you know what? I mean, if we're talking about Beauty and the Beast, I can't disagree with that. I really like my beast, so I'm pretty sure I would like more monsters. And then in here it says, Grace, step into the spotlight. I am hoping that I really love the series based on all the positive reviews. I have friends who adore these books and say that they are some of the best, so fingers crossed I will be converted eventually. I will check these books out and I will love them just as much as my friends do. But yeah, it was very lovely to meet Catherine Moon, and she was very gracious through it all, because I get very nervous to mention to the authors that I have not yet like read their books, except in this situation I had actually purchased the books from her table. I was not pre-ordering them, nor was I bringing books in to get signed, so it felt less weird. I am hoping that the next time I meet Catherine Moon that I've read the books and that I love them and that I'll probably purchase more from her. And another author I have not yet read from, but I pre-ordered this book series because it had similar vibes to the Tempting Monster series, is Harper A. Brooks, and I had purchased the Kingdom of Monsters trilogy. There was also a bind-up there as well, but yeah, I don't know which one I liked better. The bind-up looked pretty cool. It had like a blue crown on it, but I don't mind the blue dress and the blue hair either, so I decided to get these books, and I don't know if they were personalized to me. They were signed. I pretty much just went to Harper A. Brooks's table, and she was just like, here's your bag. I was like, oh, okay. So it was a different situation. She wasn't sitting down to sign anything. She just pre-signed stock. But yeah, I'm really hoping that I will love this series when I get to it. This is her newer book series, and it's pretty much a why choose monster romance once again. But when I was looking to pre-order it, it very much gave me Beauty and the Beast vibes, so that is why I decided to get the trilogy bundle, and I'm hoping to read it sometime soon and let you guys know how I go with it. And at Babe pre-registration, some of us got goodie bags and some of us got 2 books in their goodie bags. I ended up getting these 2 right here, a book by Kylie Kent called Devilish King, and then I got a novella called Pretty Little Pawn in the Girls of Grayson series by Megan Brandy. And the thing about Megan Brandy was that her line was packed, so I could not get this signed at all, and I forgot to get this book by Kylie Kent signed, but that is okay because Kylie Kent is an Australian author, so I can definitely count on her attending an event in the future. I also purchased 2 books by Kylie Kent at Rare already. I've met her. I will probably save this for a time that I meet her in the future. But yeah, it was pretty nice to receive these freebies, and I can't wait to read them sometime. And speaking of freebies, I ended up meeting K.A. Knight. Oh my goodness, her line was so big. Literally half the people who were waiting in line, probably more than half, did not make it in time for the end of the event. My ticket number was 116, and I only got my books signed half an hour before the event ended. It was a little bit difficult difficult for her to get through everyone, and I think that if anything, maybe Babe needed to either be for longer or to go on for maybe another day, because it was kind of devastating to see that the line was so huge and she couldn't really get through half of them, or maybe even more than half of them. However, out of it all, I ended up getting the Den of Vipers bonus scenes novella. I got K.A. Knight to sign my 2 editions of Den of Vipers, my regular edition and my Fabled exclusive edition, but I got her to sign this as well. She was like, do you want this? Do you have this? And I was like, no, I don't have it and I want it. So she signed it. There's her beautiful signature. I'm really happy I met her. She was very lovely, and I'm actually just really sad that not everyone got to meet her. I totally understand that not everyone signs at the same pace. I just think that maybe there could have been like more time provided for everyone, because she had over 300 tickets given out, I believe, and I was only ticket 116. I just remember being in queue and a bunch of her fans were like, I'm just gonna pick up my pre-order and not meet her, and they were kind of devastated about that, but they also wanted to make sure that they picked up the books that they paid for, you know? But overall, it was a very positive experience for me, and I'm really happy that at the beginning of the day I was just collecting tickets left, right, and center, because if I did not, if I waited until later in the afternoon to pick my ticket up, then I would have had the same problem as those with later tickets. And the next author I met at Babe, I did not read until after Babe. After Babe, I ended up picking the Zodiac Wolves series up, and I am kind of devastated now because I wish I read this book series before I met Elizabeth Briggs, because I would have wanted a photo with Elizabeth Briggs and I would have wanted to chat to her about this book series, because the Zodiac Wolves series is definitely one of my favorite paranormal series of all time now. I am obsessed. I was so addicted to the series and I just need more and more from this world, and I'm so happy that Elizabeth Briggs's next book is going to be set in this world following some other characters. I'm so obsessed with the Zodiac Wolves. But anyway, so first of all, I have Moon Touch, second of all, Star Crossed, third of all, Sun Crossed, and finally Zodiac Aligned. I have no coherent thoughts about the series because I'm just literally obsessed, but I met Elizabeth Briggs and she put this beautiful Sharpie message in my book saying, Grace, so nice to meet you at Babe. And yes, it was very nice to meet you too, Elizabeth, at Babe, because you're lovely, and now I'm a huge fan of your books, and I would have probably like fangirled a lot actually just meeting you if I had read the series before Babe. All of them are signed and they're personalized to me. I'm so happy that this book series is also the Arcane exclusive edition for one of these months as well, because now I've pre-ordered those Arcane Society exclusive editions and they look marvelous. At least the teasers look lovely. I cannot wait to see how they look in person, and I'm really hoping that the Arcane Society do the future books in the series as well, because oh my goodness, I am obsessed with the Zodiac Wolves and I just need more in this world. I need the series to be more hyped because I am so obsessed. Next author I met at Babe 2023. Funnily enough, I've actually read from before, but I've not read the series that I pre-ordered from them. I read their Life After series, but I have not yet read their Fallen Legacy series. That, my friends, is Julie Hull. I met Julie Hull at Babe. These books are really heavy. I'm gonna put them down. But the cool thing about these editions of the Fallen Legacy series is that these are the very exclusive editions that are only sold directly from Julie Hull. They've never been available to purchase in Australia, and they were available to purchase at this event. Now let me show you this beautiful art. I am so obsessed. I also really love this illustrator as well. As soon as I saw that she had these up on her pre-order form to pre-order to purchase, I knew that they had to be mine. And look, I know I haven't even read the series yet, but I just knew that they had to be mine. Here in the book, I have a signature and I have a message here saying, so glad to have met you at Babe 2023. And let me show you the rest. The second book in the series is Forging Darkness, and here is the beautiful art. This is so pretty. I am so obsessed. Look at that. I'm so happy I have these. I am just tempted to take these dust jackets off and display them on my shelves like this, but I don't really have the space to do face outs at the moment, but eventually once I get more space, I might just display these without the dust jackets faced out, because they're art. Their art. Third book in the trilogy is Unleashing Fire. I believe that this is a trilogy and then there are going to be spin-offs. There's a spin-off in the series as well. That's the fourth book. Oh my goodness, let me show you. Oh, it's so pretty. Oh my god, I just love these illustrations. And I don't care if I'm making a fool out of myself while reacting to these because they're just so beautiful. These are my babies. I'm so happy I have them. And the final book out of the bunch is Supernova, which is a spin-off book that I believe follows a side character in the series, and that is the art that's on the hardback. It's so beautiful. Check that out. Oh my goodness, that wing detail. I am just really happy that I pre-ordered these hardbacks, and yes, I do regret not pre-ordering the other hardbacks that she had available, but these were really expensive. They were like 37 USD. They costed a lot for me. Maybe next time Julie Hall comes to Australia, I will save a little bit more to purchase her Life After hardbacks, and maybe the series that she wrote in collaboration with Layla Stone. I did not even meet Layla Stone at this event. I did see her, but I have not met her yet, and I wanted to purchase her new book series eventually, but those had been picked up by a publisher and they weren't published yet. But I had met Julie Hall, and next to her, I also met Audrey Gray. I didn't purchase anything new by Audrey Gray, but I did get my Kingdom of Runes series signed by her as well. So it was kind of cool to see 3 author friends together in a row, just with each other, just signing books together and just like talking to each other every once in a while. That was awesome. But meeting Julie Hall in the middle of them was very sweet, and I'm really happy that I got these beautiful books signed by her. And the next author I met at Babe 2023 was Holly Renee. I was just obsessed with her repackaged editions of some of her books. I just decided, okay, this is my opportunity. I'm gonna purchase them all right now. So first of all, I ended up pre-ordering the Stars and Shadows series by Holly Renee. I was so obsessed with these covers, and I've heard great things about these books as well. The first book being Kingdom of Stars and Shadows, the second book being A Kingdom of Blood and Betrayal, and the third book being A Kingdom of Venom and Vows. I thought that this was a trilogy up until recently. I saw that the fourth book is available for pre-order on Amazon. As I'm speaking right now, it could have been published by the time this video goes up. But yeah, I don't know how long this book series is going to be, but what I do know is that these books are like really short, so I know that I'm going to devour these at some point. Let's see how. Oh my goodness. The first book is under 300 pages. I know that these are doable. I have heard good things, and I can't wait to try them out. I did also take a photo with Holly Renee. She was so lovely. I did kind of feel bad that I had not yet read her books at the time that I was meeting her, but I did tell her that I had friends who loved the series, so I hope that she appreciated that comment. Here I have Two Greats by Holly Renee, and I believe that all the books were signed in the same way, especially because I had purchased 9 books by Holly Renee. The next book series I purchased by Holly Renee was this series right here. The first book is Where the Good Girls Go to Die, the second book is Where the Bad Girls Go to Fall, and the third book is Where Bad Boys Are Ruined. This is a contemporary companion series where I believe we are following characters who are in this tattoo parlor, and I was initially intrigued to pick this series up because the covers are stunning. They are gorgeous, and they definitely match her fantasy series very well, but I believe that these are contemporary books. So I decided to pre-order these, and they also got signed by her as well. Yep, in the same way with the same pen. I love it. And those first 2 book series that I had purchased by Holly Renee, I pre-ordered, but then I noticed these ones on her table, and these were also repackaged editions as well, and I decided, okay, they have to be mine. I really love her covers. Oh my goodness, whoever is illustrating her covers is doing an excellent job. First book in the series is Trouble with the Fake Boyfriend, the second book in the series is Trouble with the Guy Next Door, and the third book in the series is Trouble with the Hotshot Boss. I believe that these books had non-discrete covers at first, but these discrete covers look absolutely pretty, so I decided to pick these up while I was at Babe, and I'm really happy I did because I do love myself a good romance contemporary. I had purchased 9 books by Holly Renee, and I think I am sorted. I do want to read the Stars and Shadows series as a matter of priority, but who knows, maybe I might devour some of her contemporary romances, because spoiler alert, I've actually read one of them so far as I'm filming this video, and I can't wait to read more. And we've reached the part of my Babe haul where I talk about meeting H.D. Carlton. So I had purchased Satan's Affair in the lead up to the event because I just wanted more books by H.D. Carlton to be signed, and I read this. I can't rate this. I can't morally recommend it. I was so grossed out by it, but I did end up telling H.D. Carlton that she ruined my sleep schedule, so there's that. I also got my Cat and Mouse duet signed by H.D. Carlton as well, but yeah, all of these are pretty much just signed. They're not personalized, and I understand why. Her line was always so big. And in the lead up to Babe 2023, I also pre-ordered the Mystic edition of Does It Hurt? And this edition is so pretty. I think this is the prettiest edition I've seen of this book. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of the original cover, nor am I the biggest fan of the alternative cover. And like, I don't know why. It's probably because they're somewhat generic, but I love this edition. I love the foiling on this edition. I love the stenciling on this edition. I also like the signature detail on the back, and I have the signature right here. And I seriously cannot wait to read Does It Hurt? I think Does It Hurt is one of the only books I haven't read by H.G. Carlton. I think that and Shallow River. I think there are a few books that are missing that I don't really know of yet that I want to read by H.G. Carlton. Like, I don't know. I feel like H.G. Carlton's books are very engaging. They're very addictive. They're very adrenaline inducing. They're not ones I would morally recommend, but like, I enjoy them for the most part, and I'm curious to see whether or not I will enjoy Does It Hurt based on my experience with the Cat and Mouse duet and with Satan's Affair. We will find out. I devoured that book series within like 3 days, and I would not be surprised if I devour Does It Hurt within one sitting. I'm really happy that I have this beautiful edition of it and that I met H.G. Carlton, and I am thankful to her partner once again for making sure that my book got returned to me. And overall, meeting H.G. Carlton was absolutely lovely. I'm happy that I took a photo with her and that she was just so sweet. I loved her dress. I complimented that, but I also told her that she pretty much messed me up, and she took that very well. So I'm guessing that she gets those comments all the time. And speaking of Mystic editions, I also got the Mystic edition of Sicko by Amo Jones. Now, unlike the other authors I got Mystic/Arcane Society editions for from this event, I have not yet read Amo Jones. I do love this cover though, and when I saw the original cover, I had realized that I had scored big with this because, oh my goodness, this cover is so stunning. I've heard good things about Amo Jones. I have a friend who has read them and said that their books are really good, so I am looking forward to getting to this one. And this one I got signed by Amo Jones. I felt very awkward because I had not read anything from them previously. I've heard great things about their stuff, and I'm looking forward to reading them in the lead up to the next event that they might just come to, but yeah, I was a little bit nervous because I had not read from them and I had no idea what to say. But they were lovely overall. They were pretty much mentioning to me that they had spent like majority of the day signing these editions, and that was a big surprise to them. Funnily enough, majority of us who pre-ordered from Mystic for Babe 2023 had no idea that Sicko was going to be a special edition because it was a mystery special edition. So we already knew that we were going to pre-order like the other books, but this was a mystery one. And I was unsure as to who they would pick, and I'm actually kind of happy that they chose a book from an author I've not yet read from, and to top it all off, a book that I've never heard of. I'm looking forward to reading Sicko, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I read something by Amo Jones before she rocks up to another event in the future. And the one Arcane Society edition that was available to pre-order and pick up on the day was Rejected by Jamin Eve. This is the first book in the Shadow Beast Shifter series by Jamin Eve, and this edition is not at all what I expected. It is so pretty, and for some reason it's giving me like Bear and the Nightingale vibes. Even though this book series is like a paranormal why choose romance, it's not giving me those vibes at all. It's so gorgeous. Yeah, I'm kind of obsessed. I really hope they do the rest of the series in these beautiful editions. And then here we have a map, and then I also met Jamin Eve at the event and she signed my book. This is just so stunning, and I was wondering what they would do with this edition, and I'm kind of surprised with what they did. I was actually expecting some fan art or it to be like nondescript, but you know what? I am digging the vibes that it is giving off. It very much reminds me of Bear and the Nightingale. I'm not too sure if there's another book series that I can compare it to, but it's giving me polar fantasy vibes, and I don't know if those vibes like have anything to do with the actual book series itself, but you know what? I'm here for it. It looks pretty cool. And the last Mystic edition I ended up picking up from Babe 2023, also the last Mystic edition that was available to purchase as a pre-order, was Seventh Circle by Tate James. Just look at this edition. This is so pretty. I am obsessed. This looks so much better with my ring light shining on it, because when it's not in the light, it just looks okay, but when the ring light is shining on it, oh my goodness, it is gorgeous. It's so pretty. Check those pages out. I love the pages. And then here we have a signature. I had reached the point of the line where Tate James was only signing one book per person, so I ended up getting this edition signed. I was going to get my Madison Kate series signed initially, but because Tate James was really on demand on the day, that's what happened. Tay James was also really on demand on the day. Look, I personally feel a little bit bitter about this. I think that her team could have been a little bit more respectful when it came to making sure that she was interacting with her fans at the time that she was getting her book signed, because majority of the time I was standing with Tay James to get my book signed. Her assistant was talking to her, and then her other assistants were talking to her, and then people kept on interrupting it. And I understand that Tay James was running this event, but when you only have one interaction with your fans in line, I don't know. I don't think that it's Tate's fault, personally. Like, it's not like Tate was seeking out to talk to other people. It's just people kept on jumping in when I was trying to talk to her and I was trying to interact with her. I did end up taking a photo with her because a fan in the line ended up being nice enough to hold the camera. That all being said, I still had a good time at the event. It's just, I think that personally, signing etiquette could have been respected. I understand that assistants talk to authors at times to get things sorted out, but because the time was limited between the fan and the author, I do think that some time between author and fan should be granted and respected. I was wondering if everyone else had like a similar experience. And yes, I understand that Tay James is the co-runner of the event, but I personally did not experience the same thing at Jame and Eve's table. That's why I'm mentioning it here. But I did meet her, I did take a photo with her, and I don't really have much more to say about the experience. However, the final books that I purchased at Babe 2023 happened to be special editions from both Tay James and Jame and Eve. And those are the Babe exclusive editions of the Boys of Belrose series. Now, unfortunately, I had purchased these at Tay James's merch table, and I didn't have time to go back into Jame and Eve's line to get these signed. But maybe, just maybe in future, I might be able to. On these books, they have stenciled edges with music notes and flowers. I'm not too sure if you guys can see that. I don't know what these mean in terms of the series, but I just really like these designs. I really like the foiling. I was initially going to purchase these books in paperback prior to the event, and I did not, and I'm actually really happy that I held back from doing that, because now I have these beautiful hardback editions that are foiled, they're stenciled, I like them. They're signed and they're stamped. They have a Babe 2023 stamp. They were really expensive. These were like $300. I have an exclusive edition series from the event, as well as some Mystic editions. And so even though I didn't have a full experience with Tate James, at least I got some beautiful special editions from them, and they were lovely overall. It's just, once again, I just don't like that I was interrupted. And overall, Tate and Jamin were lovely, and I am just really happy that I got to experience Babe 2023, and I wouldn't have been able to experience that. All of us would not have been able to experience that if it weren't for them. So I definitely have to give them a round of applause. I have to give them a standing ovation. I have to give them everything for what we got out of this event, and I honestly cannot wait for any potential future Babe. At the moment, they are considering doing a Babe 2025. We don't know yet. The interest form has gone out, but nothing has been confirmed yet. Initially, they told us that this was going to be the last Babe, but I think they're gonna say that every time, and then they're gonna be like, no, we want to do another Babe. Honestly, I cannot wait for the next book event that I attend, but I'm really happy with the experience I had this time around, and I'm really happy I got to share these books with you guys, because I had a really fun time collecting these. I had a very fun time getting them all signed and meeting the authors that I did. There were other authors that I did meet as well that I didn't collect books from the event, but I still had amazing experiences with them. This is just the haul, essentially. The books that I purchased in the lead up to the event that I have not hauled previously, and the books that I picked up from the event. So I guess that's gonna be it for this video today, book lovers. If you happen to stay till the end of the video, leave me the star emoji. And if you happen to enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet already. Join the amazing community of book lovers. And also, I have social medias. My Cheesefizzle books on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm also Goodreads. That's www.goodreads.com/cheesefizzle. And finally, I'm at TikTok. My Cheesefizzle on TikTok if you want to follow me there for some bookish content. I love you, book lovers, and I will see you later.
Started out with half and I flipped it in a double. Started out with half and I flipped it in a double.